Live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. This is the Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Kaloni. Our headlines this hour: Attorney General tears into appeals court for acquitting and discharging minority leader in ambulance case.
I'm a firm believer in the rule of law. I'm an adherent to the rule of law, and clearly our appeal against the decision. This decision by the Court of Appeal is wrong, is unfair to the nation, and must not be allowed to stand.
A lawyer for the minority leader has declared they are ready to face off with the Attorney General at the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, there has been jubilation in Parliament as the NDC minority side celebrate a big win. Also, Parliament passes historic affirmative action bill. As Speaker warns, there's still more to be done.
Not a bill for just women. It's a bill for all of us. It's a bill for development. We need to do more there to be able to create this free and just society we are looking for.
We're also grateful for your time. Let's begin from the minority side, where former minority leader Haruna Idrisu is warning Attorney General Godfred Iwuadame he will face more legal defeat and embarrassment if he presses through his plan to appeal the acquittal of minority leader Dr. Akosombo Forsen. The Court of Appeal, by a 2-1 majority decision, ended the trial of the minority leader for allegedly causing financial loss to the state. The AG has already signaled he will appeal the decision. We'll take you to Parliament shortly, but first, here is legal affairs correspondent Lateef Idrisu with a wrap of what happened in court.
Until the Attorney General, Godfred Iwuadame, follows through with his declaration to file an appeal at the Supreme Court, the accused persons in the highly publicized ambulance procurement trial, Dr. Akosombo Forsen and businessman Richard Japa, are free. What has been lost again is that the state has lost the opportunity to have secured the 2.37 million euros that were lost due to the processes leading up to the procurement of the ambulance and how the ambulance came in and were unfit for purpose at the time. The state had the opportunity when Big C proposed that they were willing to pay the amount to the state, but the Attorney General and prosecution for that matter declined that offer. Today, that opportunity is lost. The states cannot go back and secure that $2.37 million. It has now been lost to the state.
Earlier said, this ruling is a victory for all democracy-loving Ghanaians and those who hold fidelity to the rule of law, to the law. So it's a victory for all Ghanaians. It's not a victory for me alone. And for all those who were praying and they saw that we needed integrity in this country and they wanted that protected. And so it's a victory for everyone.
When I spoke with you during one of your interviews here at the court complex, you mentioned that the judge was treating you like a convict who is only going through the motion, and then at the end of the day you're going to be thrown into jail. Do you regret that statement now that the case has been, taken off by the Court of Appeal?
Not at all. I stand by it because it's a fact. It was very obvious and clear. And the justice that I got with all Ghanaians supporting it, I got it from the Court of Appeal and not from the High Court. The High Court, if you realize, we sat yesterday and we're to sit today, Tuesday, and we're to sit Wednesday. So you could see that she's in a hurry to finish this case before the election.
The Attorney General has since vowed to appeal the Court of Appeal ruling, which he describes as perverse, grossly unfair, and erroneous decision at the Supreme Court. Richard Japa says he is ready for that.
I'm always ready. If the Attorney General wants to go to the court or go to the Supreme Court to appeal against the ruling, I'll meet him there. Even if he doesn't win there and he wants to go for review, I'll meet him there. Wherever he wants to go, I'll meet him there. So I don't have an issue at all. I'm really ready for this government. I'm ready for them.
It remains to be seen if the Attorney General will indeed appeal the ruling or not. Richard Japa left the court complex happy and full of smile. Dr. Kesila Tuforsen, Sylvester Animana, and Richard Japa were dragged to the High Court in 2021 for willfully causing financial loss to the state and misapplying state property.
Now, former Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu is warning Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame he will face more legal defeat and embarrassment if he presses through his plan to appeal the acquittal of a Minority Leader, Dr. Kesila Tuforsen. The Court of Appeal by a 2-1 minority decision or majority decision instead decided ended the trial of the Minority Leader for allegedly causing financial loss to the state. The AG has already signaled he will appeal the decision. But the NDC MPs who took to the floor of the House draped in white believed that would be an exercise in futility. There's more in the following report.
The Minority Leader, Dr. Kesila Tuforsen, was greeted into the chamber with tears and chants from his NDC colleagues who had white cloth draped around their necks. All this in celebration of the acquittal of Dr. Kesila Tuforsen and businessman Richard Japa, who were both standing trial for allegedly causing financial loss to the state. The former Minority Leader, Haruna Idrisu, explained all this to the House, stressing the Attorney General will be further embarrassed if he pushes through this appeal.
The Court of Appeal upheld that the decision by the High Court for him to proceed with a submission of his case had no legal basis, and therefore did not only discharge him but acquitted him. That is what we are celebrating, and he's invited to celebrate us. Now, Mr. Speaker, I hear the Attorney General, even instead of swallowing his humble pride, is saying that he wants to litigate on this matter. Mr. Speaker, we assure him that he will be further disgraced.
Majority Leader Alexa Nafenyo-Markin said he shared in the victory of the Minority Leader, but insisted the NDC should stop attacking judges whenever judicial decisions don't go their way.
We have to be very consistent as a political class in our celebration of the judiciary. Mr. Speaker, I agree with the position taken by the Honorable Haruna Idrisu. No executive arm of government can manipulate the judiciary arm of the realm. Mr. Speaker, it must never be said that the judiciary is under the control of the executive. Mr. Speaker, I celebrate in your victory, and you know how much it means to democracy in this country. Minority Leader on trial, you've gone through the system, your belief in the judicial system. Today, on all fours, I don't take alcohol, but I can offer you a non-alcoholic wine. Mr. Speaker, I know Atu doesn't take alcohol either. No, I don't. I have serious allergies. Oh, we are not talking about other things. Mr. Speaker, I know Atu doesn't take alcohol either. Anytime we go for lunch, it is fruit juice.
Parliament is set to go on break at the close of business today, and the latest development would have been expected at the start of this meeting when a trial threatened to handicap Parliament in the delivery of its mandate when the NDC announced boycott whenever their leader was in court. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
The Attorney General and Minister of Justice Godfred Yeboah-Dame has served a notice he will appeal against the 2-1 majority Court of Appeal decision that quashed the controversial trial of the Minority Leader Kesila Tuforsen and businessman Richard Japa for allegedly causing financial loss to the state. He described the decision as perverse, grossly unfair and erroneous.
a firm believer in the rule of law, an adherent to the rule of law, and clearly our appeal against the decision. This is the first time that a decision adverse to the prosecution has been given by a court. Remember when there was an order after we had led so much evidence against Dr. Opini, the High Court actually ordered that we should commence de novo. What did I do? I filed an appeal to the Court of Appeal, and I was able to sustain the appeal. And so I think that is what we've done promptly in this matter. We'll file an appeal to the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to give a definitive view on the matter. And I think that clearly this decision by the Court of Appeal is wrong, is unfair to the nation, and must not be allowed to stand. If indeed it stands, it will set a very dangerous precedent for the nation. It goes against the grain of all the authorities on causing financial loss in the country. And in my respectful view, there is no case in which financial loss has been more clearly established than this one. The financial loss established, and also as a result of the act of the accused person here, is so clear. You find an accused person who even profited several thousand euros out of the 2.3 million euros that was paid for the ambulances. I mean, I think that this is so offensive to the rule of law, and indeed, the decision must not be allowed to stand.
Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Bar Association, Sefia Kuja, described the comment by the Attorney General as unnecessary and inappropriate.
Is that those words were inappropriate and unnecessary, because if a decision did not go in your favor, you could try to appeal against it, which he indicated. So those words were not necessary. Don't forget, he's the leader of the bar. Words like that should not be used to describe judgments of a court or rulings of a court. We all must believe in the system. Assuming this decision had gone in his favor, would he have used those words? I am sure no. If you remember, in 2022, at our conference, he was one of the people who spoke against former President Mahaman's description of the Supreme Court's unanimous 7. So for us, we did not expect him to use such words. The least we expected of him was to say that was the decision of the court. He would apply for the decision, review it, and advise himself. I think that would have been more appropriate.
But this case is over. I mean, as far as the appeals court is concerned, once it's out of the courts, you can say anything, can you not?
No, what I mean is this. Evans, those words are just too strong. Assuming the decision was made in his favor, would he have used such strong words? Inefficacious, perverse? No, he is the leader of the bar. We shouldn't expect him to be using such words. You could say you disagree with it.
Now, let's sum it up with a breakdown of the court ruling with this graphic there you have on your screen. So, there were 3 judges, and Justice Alex Poko Champong was the presiding judge, but he dissented. And the 2 other judges, Justice Kweku Chewia, Aka Boafo, he granted, as well as Justice Philip Bright Mensah also granted. So 2 granted and 1 dissented. But let's see now, the prosecution failed to establish sufficient evidence. Trial judge erred in calling on A1, which is Dr. Kesel Atoforsen, to open his defense. So no positively proven fact, according to the ruling. And let's go on to see, and they say that evidence based on impermissible speculations, and it means they're not being grounded, and the appeal filed by both should succeed, and order of High Court set aside. That's according to the ruling. And it goes on to say, uphold the submission of no case, and the appellants are and should be hereby acquitted and discharged. And so those 2, Richard Jakpa, as well as Dr. Kesel Atoforsen, they have been discharged and acquitted. Now, let's take you to the constituency of the Ejumako Enyangwe, resident of that constituency, which minority leader belongs to or comes from, say they have always known that the MP was innocent.
Actually, I knew he was going to be vindicated because he's innocent and he did the right thing. He never did anything wrong. For them to accuse him of it, I know they were just going back and forth, and I know the government just wanted to use him as a scapegoat, which was not going to work. We knew we were going to win this case hands down. We knew we were going to win it from the onset. He's innocent, and it has been proven today. A sitting government is afraid of him. He's a very strong person, and they know the impact he has on in the NDC and the followers he has. So they wanted to sabotage him by bringing court issues to him, which was not going to work, and we knew he was going to win this case.
You know, Atofose is our mentor, is our everything. He has done a lot for the youth of this town and in this constituency. They have secured jobs, development, everything, everybody knows. So when this issue came to court, we were very disturbed, especially those of us who follow Atofose. And I think this is a victory for the constituency, a victory for democracy, but everybody knows that Atofose doesn't supervise the work of Ministry of Health. Ministry of Health is autonomous. He's just a minister at the Ministry of Finance. And he just did something that we call, it is mandatory. It is what the Constitution obliged him to do. So we are very grateful to the motherland. We are very grateful to the courts. We are very grateful to those people who supported Atofose through that trial. And we are very happy that our member of parliament, which is our father, our everything, is now acquitted and discharged. And I know when the law says acquitted and discharged, no court can call this case again.
There was no case at all. We are expecting a more formal way of legal actions to be taken, especially when somebody is a master of the law and then they tend to go or breach the law. I'm saying Dr. Atofose, from the beginning, we know he was innocent.
Now, the vetting of two persons nominated by President Akufo-Addo to the Supreme Court has been put on hold after chaos erupted at the hearing of the Appointment Committee. The minority leadership stormed the hearing room after claiming to have heard that the majority side wanted to secretly vet the nominees and present a report to the House. Listen to Minority Leader Dr. Atofose speaking to the committee after disrupting the hearing.
Appalled. I'm appalled. You have broken the trust of the NDC Minority Caucus. And you have committed a number of sins. And I will tell you the sins that you have committed. Your first sin, you unilaterally wrote a letter to the nominees, inviting them for vetting without the input of the appointment committee. That's your first sin. And I have your sins. Sin number two, all your sins. Your sin number two, you wrote to the nominees. Certain Wednesday 13th, Wednesday 31st, after informing them that we are waiting, Wednesday 31st without our input. Then number three, after we met as a committee, your third sin, after we met as a committee and agreed that we will do this vetting before we are recalled, so that during the recall we will take them. You unilaterally, again, no, I'm enumerating all the sins that she's committed. A number of sins. And then you inform them that now you have shifted the goalpost from the 31st that we agreed to Tuesday, and going forward you hold it and submit the report to the House. Madam, this is not a banana republic. We cannot joke with this democracy. These are some of the things that we do, and the democracy elsewhere, they lose them. We will protect this democracy at all costs. You are putting somebody into a constitutional office until the age of 70. All what we are asking is that advertise for a minimum of 14 days, invite memorandums. So far you have advertised for 4 days.
Now, Minority Chief Kwame Governs Agboja accused the majority leader Alexander Afenyomarkin for being behind the attempt to secretly vet the nominees.
Requested judgments and other things where we can all go through the CVs and everything. And then we are told that the majority leader came back and and rubbish all that we have done, including his members on the committee, because he was busy hosting ECOWAS. He has gone to drag ECOWAS meeting, which is supposed to be in Abuja, to his constituency, so that all that we have done doesn't appear to him as a good job. So he directed that the chairperson call a meeting midnight. So members of the media, I consider this meeting as an illegal meeting to put together members of a legal community. How can this be? So nobody on this team is against any judge. In fact, we actually want more of them to be vetted in a very decorous and respectful way.
This is how the chaos started when Deputy Majority Leader Patricia Piaget announced she was halting vetting.
I'd like to suggest that we suspend sitting, and then we'll revert back to you when we are ready. Suspend sitting, and then we engage.
We are not suspending the system. Let us adjourn and let's go and have a meeting. Suspending this meeting. We will agree. Mr. Speaker, we will not agree to any suspension. Look, we are not. Let's take a vote on it.
Let's vote on adjournment as opposed to suspension.
Honorable Leader of our visitors who are here, I think
we have not
if we suspend, no,
we have not invited anybody.
It's not up to you alone unilaterally to say we are suspending. It's not up to you. We will engage here.
Now, Parliament made history Tuesday, passing the Affirmative Action Bill into law. The bill, which has been in and out of Parliament for several years, has finally been passed unanimously by the House. The bill is expected to ensure that a critical number of women are in key positions in governance, public life and decision-making spaces that will improve the lives of women in the country. Listen to Gender Minister Dakwa Newman move the motion for the passage and the vote in the House.
That the Affirmative Action Gender Equity Bill 2024 be now... Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that the Affirmative Action Gender Equity Bill 2024 be now read the third time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move. Thank you.
Affirmative Action Gender Equity Act 2024. I put the question. Honourable members, those in favour of the third reading of the bill, say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The Affirmative Action Gender Equality Bill 2024, now Affirmative Action Gender Equity Act 2024, duly read the third time and passed.
An act to provide for affirmative action for gender equity in the public and private sectors and for related matters.
Now, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin says there's still more to be done to ensure that there's true equity among the genders.
Up at the public gallery, and it's not just today. They have been with us throughout. It's not been easy. We need to move together. It is not a bill for just women. It's a bill for all of us. It's a bill for development. This is the first stage. We have passed the law. We have to appropriate adequate resources for the ministry to lead the implementation of the provisions that we have enacted. So we've just started. Don't let's celebrate and don't really put in place vision that we have created for the country.
Now, still in Parliament, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has constituted a 7-member committee to probe the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. Close to a year ago, more than 30 constituencies were devastated and submerged after the floodgate of the Akosombo Hydro Dam were opened. Following a statement by North Tongue MP Samuel Okujetua-Blakwa, the House resolved to set up a committee, but the failure of the majority leadership to submit names to form the committee has forced the Speaker to constitute the committee on his own. MP for Ahafo Ano North Suleiman Adamu Sanid will chair this committee, with Dr. Emmanuel Mafo and Francesca Oten Mensah forming part. The other members are Emmanuel Kwesi Bejra, Dr. Kobina Donko, and technical person. Listen to the Speaker set out the terms of reference of the committee.
I intend, and do it now, to formally establish an ad hoc committee of the House to investigate this matter of public importance, and particularly to do the following. 1. Establish the circumstances leading to the spillage of excess water from the Akosombo Dam. 2. Evaluate the preparedness and response of the Volta River Authority and other relevant bodies. 3. Assess the impact of the spillage on the affected communities and the adequacy of the relief efforts. 4. Review the protocols and methodologies considered best practice globally to regulate the dam spillage. And 5. Make recommendations for the consideration of the House on how such a disaster could be averted and minimized in the future. The committee shall comprise members from both sides of the House and a technical expert on the subject matter.
Now, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin says this investigation is critical to unravel the circumstances surrounding the spillage and ensuring the damage is never repeated.
Honourable members, we are still confronted with the aftermath of the spillage of the Akosombo Dam by the VRA, which has plunged thousands of Ghanaians into destitution. The loss of property running into billions of Ghana cedis and the disruption of livelihoods have been devastating. Despite these repeated calls for action, the House has yet to take concrete steps to address this pressing issue. Recently, the Volta River Authority issued a notice dated 5th July 2024, signed by its Deputy Chief Executive in charge of services, Engineer Ken Arthur, announcing its intention to engage relevant stakeholders of a potential spill of excess water from the Akosombo Dam. Concerns have been raised by the general populace of Ghanaians whose interests we represent in this House about the VRA handling of the situation, particularly regarding the timing and communication of the spillage. Imperative that we do not allow this matter to be swept under the carpet.
You're still watching the Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Caloni. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Please stay. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the Nido Obatampa Mo promo has rewarded 3 winners and their families with an all-expense-paid weekend trip to Safari Valley Resort. Additionally, fridges, kente cloth and cash prizes have been given to 15 people as a way to thank their loyal customers.
The Nido Obatampamo promo, which began in May this year, has culminated in rewarding 3 winners and their families with an all-expense-paid trip to Safari Villa Resort, including a stipend of 5,000 cedis. Additionally, 5 people received refrigerators, 5 were awarded kente cloth, and 5 others received a cash prize of 5,000 cedis each. In an interview with category manager for dairy products at Nestle Ghana, Gilbert Koja stated this promo was the first of its kind associated with the Nido brand, and it was done to appreciate their loyal customers.
So for brand Nido, mothers and mother figures are really important to us. We appreciate the great job that they do in nurturing their children. So we decided to take the opportunity to reward mothers and mother figures for being great parents to their children, and that is why we came up with this Nido Obatampamo promotion.
He added that he received 89,485 entries for the promo and explains how they settled on the winners.
This is the first time that a brand has really done a code in pack kind of promo. So the code to participate in the promo was inside the sachet, which meant you had to consume the product before you participate. And we were overwhelmed, over 89,000 entries across the country. And then we partnered, of course, with NLA on their Caritas Lottery platform. We used technology to randomly, through free and fair means, to select the winners that today we have rewarded here.
Bismarck J, a recipient of an all-expense-paid trip to Safari Villa Resort, expressed gratitude to Nido and Nestle Ghana.
I was excited. First beginning, I was thinking it's one of the firstest, but the course was keeping coming. So the more they call me, I give them the instruction when they need it. So I was happy. I want to tell them a very big thank you for Nestle Ghana Nido, because it's not easy.
Now, President of Academic City University College, Professor Fred Magbagonluri, is urging tertiary institutions in the country to make STEM-related courses part of the academic programs to prepare learners for the evolving technological world. His call comes on the back of demands by industry for STEM solutions to emerging technological needs in the job market. Speaking at a graduation ceremony in Accra, he said, today's job market requires graduates with skills in emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, robotics, data science, analytics, cybersecurity, among others. Latif Musa has more in the following report.
The president of the Academic City University College, Professor Fred Magbagonluri, has urged universities across the country to include science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in the academic programs they roll out for students. This, he believes, are the skills required for the job market.
And our hope is that we have tooled them right to go into this new, evolving and dynamic world. I mean, the major trust in technology is in the blockchains, it's in the AIs, it's in the data sciences, it's engineering. And that is kind of how we've positioned this institution, that we want to play at the clear interfaces between these emerging technologies. So we are interested in these emerging technologies that we believe belongs to the future of work. And when you come to Academic City, essentially those are the type of skill set that we want you to have. So independent of what you are studying, you find aspects of technology in it. So if you're an entrepreneurship person, you find some technology in entrepreneurship. If you're a business person, you find some technology. If you're a communication arts person, you find some technology in it. So we believe that we are future ready and we are producing future ready leaders here who will be able to tackle the challenges of the next generation of workforce. We are ready for Industry 4.0 and we are ready for Education 4.0 as well.
The Chief Executive Officer of Telesol Ghana, Engineer Patricia Obonai, says she was impressed with the university's program module, which incorporated engineering as one of the main topics. She further indicated that the use of data will help Ghana to be more efficient in decision-making and clamp down on corruption.
Embed
the message that we've all been driving, that the world is changing and we all need to embed technology in the way we work and the way we carry out things. It will help this country to become more efficient in the way we deliver. It will drop the level of corruption that we see because you will be able to have data. It will help us to make more informed decisions because we are using data to make the decisions. We'll have a lot of insights. So for me, this is impressive, and this is what I would like to encourage many institutions, actually the schools and also businesses, to adopt technology and embed STEM in the way they do business.
Now, Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, James Kluche Aveji, has expressed anger over the Ministry of Health and Ghana Police Service's failure to retrieve 1.3 million cedis worth of missing condoms and birth control shots. The items, according to the Auditor General's report, vanished into thin air while on transit from the temporary Central Medical Stores requisition in Tama to the regional medical stores in the Eastern region in August 2022. My colleague James Aveji has a wrap in the following report.
For the Public Accounts Committee on Tuesday were the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service and its agencies and departments. Chairman of the committee, James Kluche Aveji, commenced proceedings with inquiry into the controversial disappearance of 1.3 million cedis worth of condoms on transit as captured by the Auditor General.
20,000 packs made up of 2,880,000 pieces of male condoms and 120,000 vials of Depo-Provera, that's birth control shots, valued at 1.336 million.
Director of Policy Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation at the Health Ministry, Emalforia Jimang, said 2 years old, the vehicle and the items cannot be found.
The driver immediately thereafter had a stroke, was very ill, but has also retired.
What reasons did he give?
Chair, please, I cannot recollect the reasons right now, but the matter was they just couldn't, the items could not be found, and he hadn't also paid as at then.
The chairman was unhappy about the ministry and the Ghana Police Service's inability to investigate and prosecute the matter to retrieve the money.
When you reported the case, was the driver arrested?
Yes, he was.
And then he was bailed?
And some other, persons.
Yes. Who are the people who bailed him? People who bail him must be made to produce him or pay the money. In fact,
the docket is at the AGs, so we are just waiting for a logical conclusion before we are able to speak to the
docket at the AG. What is the docket going to do at AG?
Sir, please.
What advice?
Yeah, for advice, probably.
In another case involving the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the committee set charge Director of Human Resource, Jehuza Jaula, for validating 4 dead persons for close to 4 years, amounting to over 270,000 Ghana cedis.
The person died, and he continued to receive salary for 43 months, 44 months. No, it's not acceptable.
Well, it's time for showbiz, and Becky is here. Wow.
Good to see you always.
Yeah, good to see you too.
So we've been having conversations about the highlife music, preserving the highlife genre, and my colleague Kwame Dazi had a conversation with Adina, and she has also been sharing her thoughts on how best we can preserve the highlife genre.
It's basically this kind of music that I grew up listening to. Highlife has been it. It's formed the foundation of my music. And once I finished doing Stars of the Future and I had to decide what the genre would be, it just made sense. Like it was only right for me to, gear towards the thing that is what would make me a Ghanaian. I feel like highlife is in our identity, and there's no other genre I could go and do, I think that when people release highlife projects, it should be embraced. You know, a lot of people should help for it to grow, because I feel like in Ghana, most people go with what's popular. So if a popular genre comes out, if somebody does a song that is in a popular genre, that is what the kids will promote, or even the media houses might want to support, you know. I feel like people should be let's intentionally promote high life music. The more we promote it, the more it will look appealing or interesting to the younger ones, for them to want to also, you know, have a taste. Because at the end of the day, most of the artists that are out there, they just want a hit song. So if the song that they're about to do, the industry will support it to be a hit, I think they will be encouraged. But if they feel like, high life, though, I did him. If I do it, nobody's going to play it at a party. No one is going to play it at a club, you know? So I feel like intentional support from the entire industry, which includes even the consumers, like the lay people in the house, it should be intentional. We should all just embrace high life music. And that's what will make it flourish, so that in the end, younger people that are trying to make music will also want to, you know, try some high life music.
You know, right there, the agenda to push and preserve the high life music is a step in the right direction.
Sure, we need
support it fully,
to
and so that's the reason why I'll be asking you right now, right here, your favorite high life song. I just want to be sure.
I think I like Amachidede's Bebrebe Emfaye Nkosishi.
Bebrebe.
Yeah, that's all. I love it so much. Yeah.
Bebrebe Emfaye Nkosishi. But Deadpool, new one, the Ebeko baby, Inti, and Amide Ebremu, I will join you for showbiz here this evening. Please, we're so grateful that you could join us here on Joy News. Remember to brush your teeth day and night with Pepsodent, because with Pepsodent, every smile matters. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great. And you can log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. My name is Carlos Caloni, and she is
Becky.